In the far distant future of 2021, one team dared to take the tactical rock to the next level, to make bigger, badder, and more extreme rocks. If you need a tactical rock in your life, there's only one team to call, the AMG team. AMG team. Hello everybody, welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. I am your host, Dallas Kemp. And hopefully you joined in Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for one Mr. William Schick, who painted up his Medusa, looking super awesome with all of our awesome hair. Today we're going to be finishing up our crystal. I started last week on Thursday. And I think what we're going to do, I went ahead and tightened up some lines, did some dark lining off screen because I had to flip her upside down. No one wants to watch that. So we're going to just get in, we're going to paint the fire. We might paint the water effect and see where it goes, and just why not? We might even, if I get done fast enough, I might even work on my Medusa and see what happens. So we're here to paint, so grab your brushes, grab your sweet attitudes, and let's get to the show. So there we go, there's our crystal. As you can see, done up, very classic colors. And I'm going to paint up the fire. Now, because this was zenithal prime, there's about a bunch of shadows on the bottom. I don't want those shadows on the bottom. I want to get rid of all those shadows. So I'm going to use an off-white. And I'm going to paint all of the fire in a nice little off-white. This will give me a nice solid foundation to build my fire effect off of. And remember, when you're doing fire, fire works opposite of how you normally paint. Typically, your edges are your highlights on any materials. Typically. There's no hard, fast rules in art. You can break rules all the time if you know how. So let's focus on the rules right now so we can all learn them together. But fire is backwards. Fire works in reverse. The deep recesses are light. That's where it's hot. The fire is burning hotter, and when it burns hotter, it burns brighter. And then as it goes away from the source, it gets darker. So what we're going to do, we're going to do some yellow. We're going to build up. We're going to have the tips of it in more dark reds, stuff like that. I'm going to drop her down just a scooch. I'm going to take a little bit of that off-white as well. And I painted her normal, but I want to throw a little OSL on here. I'm going to really thin down some paint. Some of this off-white. I want it super, super, super thin. And I want to think about where maybe some of that fire will connect to her costume. So maybe here on that shoulder that's heavily leaned into the fire. What I'm doing is I'm just ever so lightly painting in some light to kind of establish where I think I'd like to see some of that yellow coming in. We could even do like a little bit catching the back of that jawline. Maybe right across the top of that glove. So how's everybody doing this week? Ready for the weekend? Ready to get some more painting done, hopefully? We got Inhumans coming out very soon. Don't forget we got the Next month we got the next Crisis Protocol Painting Challenge, which is royalty. So maybe you go very obvious and maybe you paint up a Medusa or something. Maybe do like Peter Parker, King of New York. Give him a little crown or something. I don't know. It's your hobby. Kind of do what you want. Be excited to see what everybody comes up with for that painting challenge. And don't forget, next week on Thursday, let me go back a little bit. In addition to our normal streaming on Tuesday and Thursday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to have a special Wednesday stream. Talk about some cool stuff, upcoming stuffs. So you might want to be sure to check that out. I don't like that dot there. So you just erase it. Everybody's painting stuff. Which of the Inhumans are you most excited to paint? Tell you right now, mine was actually Crystal here. Just a fun little sculpt. Turned into a great little miniature. A lot of fun and personality. So. Yeah, Crystal has a lot of like little interesting elements. You get to play with water, fire, yeah, the rocks. I went and gave mine some glowy eyes, as you can see. Yeah, glazes are an amazing tool. Great tools to work with once you learn about them and develop skills with them. We use them a lot here on the streams, and the studio miniatures use them a lot as well. Yeah, I was definitely super excited to paint Crystal. Just a fun little pose, fun little miniature. A lot of neat little details and challenges. The thing about glaze is a lot of times I see folks put that first layer of glaze on, and they think they're doing it wrong because the first glaze shouldn't change anything. Like a good glaze, that first glaze almost is imperceivable. And then as you work in more glazes, you'll start to see the transitions and the changing. When I paint red, I typically go 12 to 15 glazes of red, and those first like 4 or 5, you don't really see anything. It's just so thin, it's hard, you can't really tell, and then it just builds up. And it's like dry brushing. A really good dry brush, a very talented dry brusher, will like almost make it imperceivable that the first dry brush has even been applied. It should just be really, really thin, really, really light, almost imperceivable. And then you build into that little yellow there. Something like that. I gotta let that dry. So, let's grab another color real quick. I got some blue on this rock. I want to get rid of that blue real quick. What do I got laying around here? A little bit of this, a little bit of that. A little brown, a little white. Get rid of that blue on the rock. Tidy that up. Just while we're waiting for that next layer to dry. It looks like I got some yellow on my base that I already painted. I have to fix that. Liam says, just started Gamora now. I really like painting Gamora. I thought Gamora was a lot of fun to paint. Very powerful sculpt. The mini turned out super cool. I really like the mini. Like really wanted to capture that like super aggressive, tough, you know, most deadliest woman in the galaxy kind of feel on the sculpt. And I think the team really did that. Alright, clean that up a little bit there. Well, what are some great techniques to learn this year that will take my painting further? Well, it depends on what techniques you already know. I think the biggest thing, like training a studio painter, it's always about getting to that point where you want really clean base coats. We're just gonna fake some light. What the heck, why not? You want really clean base coats, so developing that skill is really primary, really fundamental. Learning to divide elements. So when I say elements, I'm not talking like crystal here with fire, water, earth, air. I'm talking about elements like this blue collar, this yellow bodysuit, the belt buckle. Learning to divine those out. Also learning to not be afraid to highlight. Like that's a really good skill to develop. You really don't want to be afraid to highlight. Get in there and put some highlights on there. So I'm using a little of that delicious Hold Your Blue that Schick and I both love. I'm just going to push some shadows on my blue costume. And I just want to push that down to make the fire pop, right? Contrast is key. And there's lots of different types of contrast. I say, we've talked about this before. There's light and dark contrast, but there's also hot-cold contrast. There's soft, hard contrast. There's many different types of contrast. So learning about all your different contrasts. So in this, I'm going with a little light, a little dark. So I want to push the dark around the light, and that'll make it look more. That'll make it look brighter, actually. So this is very yellow right now. And of course, it won't be that yellow. I actually need to tone this down a little red. And we're going to get to that in just a moment. I'm just going to play. We're just going to talk through the process. You know, we're here to learn how to paint, not what to paint, if that makes sense. You know, what to paint would be like, take this color, put it here, now line it with this. And I'd like to approach things more like, let's learn how to paint. Like, there's no right color to choose. Let's work together to kind of get a feel for what you can paint, just how you want to paint. Ultra blue is a great color. Use it for a lot of things. Oh boy, boy, oh boy. I'm working on that base and I had her pulled down. So I use a little bit of that green gray that we talked about last week. Just made a wash. Go over these floaty rocks. Now, this was one of my favorite parts of this miniature design was the floaty rocks. Just working with that negative space to show really something like being lifted by gravity. Turned out really cool. The sculptor Gail Gamone did a really awesome job, and our engineering team really brought it to life. And happy little work family bringing this miniature to life, and now I get to bring it to life with some paints, just like you will soon. I'd like to see some different versions of this costume. It'd be cool to see what the community comes up with. And take a little red, a little yellow, mix it together. Now we're going to start working more on that fire. Getting ready to paint sword, kind of use the same concept of how to paint fire on the lightning. Yeah, absolutely. Lightning, if I would have known we were going to talk about storm, I would have grabbed my storm. My storm's way over on the other side of the room, in a different part of my studio. So she's a little far away, or I'd grab her and we could talk about that. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to bring this orange down. But I don't want to take it all the way down. I don't want to cover up all the yellow, and I don't want to get completely down where the white is. I want that white to stay there, because once again, that's where it's hot. That's the heat. But when I painted my storm, it was definitely about getting that lightning to be a nice color without it feeling like ice. So you kind of want to stay away from the icy blues and get some turquoise and yellows in there. I say that, and then when I paint ice, I actually put yellow in the ice. because you need sunlight reflections and stuff like that, but that's a different topic, I guess. I'll put a little bit of this orange into the areas, and I'll use a little, once again, my little dots I like to do. I do have it. I do have water. Sploosh. Which is done currently with just a base coat and a wash. And we're going to work on that, and then I'll attach it. Need some 360 access. We'll get to water. Maybe we'll get to water today. Maybe we'll do some water today. A little more red. Once again, starting at the top. The heat is down here at her hand. I assume her hand is generating, or she is somehow, through the pterogenesis, is creating the fire. So I want her hand to be the point where the fire is emanating. So that's going to be the hottest. As fire goes up, it loses heat, gets less bright. And all I'm doing is I'm dabbing the paint on, and then with my damp brush, dragging it down so it thins out. And if this was competition, I would go a little more complex. This is not competition. This is actually just for the tabletop. I will be, once I'm able to go back to game stores and play, I will be taking this crystal, and this crystal will hit the table just like any other miniature. When Pagani and I can go back to the game store and play games together again. Not just playtest games. Get a little more red in there. A little more red at the top. Use that damp brush, bring it down, something like that. Right at the top, use that damp brush, bring it down. Go all the way around the fire, just wherever you feel like. Kind of like look at things and just go with where I feel it'll look the coolest. I go with rule of cool a lot. I have a very strong rule of cool philosophy. Things ain't gotta make sense if they just look cool enough. Okay, that yellow middle is a little too yellow. So if you look there, I just feel like this area is just a little too yellow. So I'm gonna bring a little more orange in there. Right, if that's too yellow or white, then this really white part won't read as well. Gotta have that contrast. Now I'm gonna go pure red, right for a tip, right for a tip top. Pure red, no mix, no orange. Wow, fire! Okay, mixing it up a little bit more. As fire moves away, or as light moves away from the source, it gets darker. So I'm going to darken this up just a little bit. It's a little too orange. So I just darkened it up, and then there toward the on the hand, I'm going to keep that pretty light. Now another cool thing I can do. If you look at all the little dots I put on the black armor, I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. I'm going to kick up a little bit of white and yellow. And I want these to be highly reflective spots. Here's just a little random one right there in the middle of the shoulder pad, giving that little bit of reflection. Little reflection. Get a little yellow. And I want to draw that edge back in on her shoulder pad. And because this isn't a sharp dot, it's just a line, I went with a little yellow. Just very thinly, you can see it, just that little reflection to show that shape of the armor. I might do the same thing across here. It actually doesn't make sense for this line, but I don't care about making sense. I care about cool, and that looks really cool. Once again, if I was painting for competition, maybe I would care more about the making of sense, because I'd have somebody, I'd be going against, you know, other painters that are very talented and skilled, and they would be thinking like that, so I'd be thinking like that. But for just my little tabletop miniature, I can have more fun and more freeing. I don't have to be confined, and just kind of let the miniature be what I want it to be, and as long as it looks really cool and sharp on the table, that's all that matters. Yeah, hopefully we can all be back in game stores soon, and you know, all it takes is a little teamwork. I'm all about teamwork. It takes a little teamwork, working together. We'll get over this, because I believe in you. Just a little more reflective dots. I love these little reflective dots. Pew pew. Alright guys, what do you think? Looks pretty nifty to me. Kick a little. I'm going to work some glow on here. Might not finish this today. This part. Depends on what y'all want to see. Depends on what you want to see. You want to see this, or you want to see some sweet water? I like to leave it up to the audience sometimes. Next month I'm super excited for. We got some great stuff lined up for painting. I think we kind of mentioned it. Didn't we mention it? I think we mentioned it. In case you weren't paying attention. Got some very excellent Deadpool coming up. Got mine sitting over here, prepped and ready. I'm pretty sure Chick mentioned it. If not, I just did. I apologize. I'm a loose cannon. Alright, let's do some water. Wampa Stompa. Looking forward to Prime Mr. Sinister Most. Can you say what he is stepping out from? I mean, if I got permission, I'll show what he's stepping out from. Let's work on some water. Got a couple blues. This is just some light blue. I did a wash with some blue and teals inks. So what he's stepping out of is a rejuvenation or clone vat. We thought it'd be a lot of fun to kind of do something really interesting with the miniature. So we had a lot of fun working on that and developing the miniature. So yeah, it's like a little hibernation. Maybe it's a hibernation vat or clone vat, or something. You can say it's what you want to say. Oh, I just got a message. Hang on. I just got a message. Grab your friends and family. I'm going to show a Mr. Sinister. I'll give you a few minutes to prepare. I don't think you grabbed your friends and family yet. You gotta get your friends and family. I'm still just gonna paint this little water spout. Go tell all the kids on Facebook to get over here on Twitch. We got stuff to do. Let's put some little, not dots, but some little lines to indicate some wave. A lot of overlying. I'm pushing up toward the direction of the water. Alright, I'm going to grab it, but I still don't feel like y'all have gotten enough people in here. They're not hungry, BK. They're not hungry. I need to see some hunger. A little white mixed in there. Once again, I'm just going to push up the direction of the wave. really excited for the Sinister as well. Like, once again, a really great character to work on, and once again, the team came together and made like something really, I feel is really special. With the sculpt, the miniature, and just a ton of fun. Alright, let's do it. So this is Mr. Sinister. Wait, come on, we can get more people in here. We still got 30 minutes. We still got 30 minutes. So you see how I'm just doing these little lines? Ooh! Let's see, can we get that a little... Can you see that? Let me see if I can contrast that a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, there's just little tiny lines. Now they're pretty light because I want to build up. I'm using the side of the brush. Just looking at the surface of the water. I'm trying to hit the high points. Yeah, I think lateral stippling is sort of a good way to explain it. They're very elongated. What I'll do is I'll build this up with a couple layers, getting lighter and lighter and covering less and less surface area. Maybe I don't like that, so I'm gonna do I ever use rough? I do use rough sponge, especially for weathering certain things. Sponge from, you know, there's lots of ways to get some rough sponge. It's a really good material to use to create harsh textures. Really great for weathering, like edges of, I love it for like edges of vehicles or machinery. My little Fisk construction site, oh boy, I just finished that the other day and had so much fun. It took me forever to paint it. I just got busy with other stuff and didn't find time to do it. But it was a lot of fun to finally sit down and get the construction site painted. And the little cat, the bucket loader, that's what I did. I put a little bit of sponge and a dark color, and I sponged on the edges where it would catch wear and tear, and made a really cool effect showing that my little vehicle was in use and kind of beat up. So it's a great little tool. Really want to emphasize the lightness on this front edge. Alright, here in a few minutes we'll show off one Mr. Sinister. As we work on our water spout for crystal. Like I said, I'm just letting the kind of paint go where it wants on this and just hitting it, getting that motion. That's what you really want. It's interesting playing with, it's hard plastic, right? So it's a solid piece of material. It's completely opaque, and you want to create live motion, translucency in it. So it's figuring out ways to kind of cheat that and create that effect. I really like painting water. It's a lot of fun. It's a neat little just exercise. I don't ever feel bad if it doesn't come out exactly like water. Sometimes it's just fun to see what you can do and play. Try new stuff. I feel like I'm not getting very many questions today. Have we answered every question in the world? I believe we have. We'll put little tiny dots, highlights, in the deepest shadows. Because like even though it's in shadows, like sometimes there's like little bits that just kind of catch the light, right? If you look at photography of water, you'll see like the deepest area sometimes has like these really bright little reflections. So I want to create that. Gives the eye something to catch on. Now, how's this look next to her? I've not cleaned my brush in like 10 minutes. Yeah, that's gonna look super good. So I was actually working on my Medusa, which we worked on stream. I went with like a different color scheme. Went with black and purple. And I started working on the hair. Super red, a lot of little illustrations like Schick did. You can get just lost there and just really just build in like a lot of little lines, and you just kind of get lost in the painting. So a lot of fun to work on. Really love that miniature. Grab some more of my blues. That's the name of my next album, Grabbing More of My Blues. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with red. I really like painting. I mean, I like painting lots of colors. I probably say this over every color, don't I? I was like, I really like painting that color. I just do. Like painting every color. But like red, I enjoy. It's a fun process with red. and I use a lot of inks, and I highlight to where it looks ridiculous. Like, my highlights on red are ridiculous. Like, they just don't even look right until I use that red glaze. Lancelot, what's my favorite color? My favorite color is dun. And not D-U-N, the actual color done. D-O-N-E, done, as in finish, fini. That's my favorite color. Yeah, salmon pink is a good color, or like I go with more of a peach, like almost like super peach. It just should look really ridiculous. Like a good red highlight should just look really ridiculous and not correct or good. And then you use some glazes, and you can bring it down and you can make it really, really, really sharp looking red. This water spout makes me want to, it kind of makes me crave like some 1980s fruit juice cooler or something. Like something with a really ridiculous commercial with kids skateboarding and snowboarding, and it's just like the flavor packed punch of Atomic Mass fruit juice. Hey mom, can we have an Atomic Mass fruit juice? Sure kids, it's made with 92% not fruit juice. Yeah. This is like Tropic Blue or something like that. I like that question. Will Atomic Mass release different color dice packs? That's definitely something we talked about. Currently, we're a little busy on some other projects, but you know, you never know what the future might bring. Who knows? It's a good idea, though. Definitely something we talked about. See, now I'm getting in there with much brighter whites. Kicking it up. Spot on commercial. Thanks, Moo. I love those 90s commercials. They were just so, you know, so much personality in them. They were ridiculous. Sharpen the brush. Alright, I think I've accomplished all I wanted to accomplish on this water spout. Mom, Charlie's drinking AMG juice again. Charlie. Womp womp. AMG's got the juice, flavor blasted for your face. I'm going to peel that water spout out. I'm going to do a little test fit and see how it looks. A little swoopity swoop round. Oops. So I do this when I can't just hold it up. Now I like it positioned where her hand and the tip of the spout's kind of like lined up to really show that she's guiding it. So yeah, something like that. Oop. You needs to be a little further on the base. There we go. So I'll symbol that. But first, because I promised, I feel bad. I teased you guys, teased everybody, and haven't done it yet. Go ahead and grab your family, grab the family dog, grab grandma. I'm going to show off our Mr. Sinister. There you go. So super fun little sculpt, great miniature, super menacing. That crazy awesome cape. I love the cape design. Some dope smoke coming up, rising out of his cloning chamber. Boop. Just looking evil as usual. I definitely recommend the cape is 2 parts. It's a bottom layer and a top layer. I would definitely recommend. What I would do is I would put the bottom layer on and paint the entire miniature, and then paint the top layer separate and then glue it on afterwards. It's 2 pieces. The cape is 2 pieces. Yeah, he's probably got something on that right boot once he steps out of there. Bunch of cloning goop. All right, let's kick it over to not that. My Atlanta. So hopefully you enjoyed today, and we painted some fire, we painted some object source line, we painted some fun water. Hopefully that gives you some inspiration, aspiration, and some motivation to paint your fire and water when Crystal, Lockjaw, Medusa, and Black Bolt come out next month. Join us next Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Mr. William Schick. He'll be painting up something really fun as usual. Join me every Thursday for 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be painting up something fun, I'm sure. We'll talk about some fun painting stuff. And then remember, we have a special Wednesday stream next Wednesday. Tune into that. There's a lot of fun information about the future of atomic mass and all the things that the team is working on together, and you don't want to miss it. Remember the Instagram painting challenge, the hashtag painting protocol challenge is back in action, or will be back in action next month with royalty. So get ready for that. It makes sense, right? The royal family, like, you know, paint something royal. Like I still think Peter Parker, King of New York. I want to see that conversion. Like, please, somebody, like, don't fail me. So hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Instagram for all the latest news, information, and announcements. And until next time, remember, be safe and be the heroes we all know you can be. Bye, guys. I'm looking over here at the thing because I got to click the little button, and there we go. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. They made the most extreme tactical rock floating up in space for Crystal to be on atomic mass team. Yeah.